Okay, and we're live. Yay! Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here with my dear friend, Bernice Johnson, as we are launching her newest book, her individual project, um, Beautifully Broken. And I love the title, and I am so excited and I am honored that she allowed me to work on this project with her. And it just turned out so beautiful. And hold up your book, Bernice, so everybody can see, because I don't have my copy. I'm a little salty. I just turned out so pretty. I just loved your vision for the book. And as we were talking, I just was so excited to find what I saw and that you liked what we all came up with. And I just love how it came out. And I saw something that you posted. I think you posted it today about crayons that, even broken crayons color. And I've
Yes.
always loved that myself, because my grandbabies will be like, "What, grandma? It's broken." And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Take the paper off of it. It's still a crayon. It doesn't matter if you broke it in half. It's still colors. And I love that saying, because we go through so much stuff, especially, us at our age. We can look back at what we've made it through.
Yes.
I don't like to say what we've gone through, because it sounds so, oh, I just barely got through it. But no, it's like what we have triumphed through, what we have made it through. And I love the title of this journal. And I believe anybody that gets this journal is going to be better when they're done with it, and is going to be able to look back at the beginning of the journal once they finished it and see where they started. And it's gonna be a healing journal. And I love those kinds of books and those kinds of journals. So I know we took this chapter out of your chapter of, I believe, the one in Your Next Best You,
Yes.
and we created this journal. So tell me why Beautifully Broken. And you don't really have to give away, the whole content of the book,
Okay.
but we want people to buy the journal. So why was this something that you wanted to turn into a journal?
Well, Beautifully Broken is, just like you said, is a part of healing. Even though that you may be broken, and there are some times where you still have those broken pieces and you have to pick them up one at a time. Sometimes we don't even attempt to pick them up at all. But this journal and this chapter in this journal also lets you know that I chose this one specifically because you are beautiful, whether you're going through a storm, whether you're going through a loss, whether you're having some anxiety. It will help you kind of plug into, what can I do differently? What would help me get to the point where I want to start to pick up the pieces? Just because you're broken doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. You're beautiful regardless of the broken pieces that you have not yet picked up. So that's what actually made me pull this one. It just because I know I'm still broken, and there's certain areas in my life that I'm broken, but I had to realize that I'm beautiful regardless.
Right.
I'm beautiful through my broken finances. I'm beautiful through my broken loss. I just lost my grandmother in October of last year, and she would always tell me, "Hey, regardless of what's going on, you're still beautiful. You beautiful. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder." So this is the really main reason why I pulled this particular chapter to decide to make it a journal slash book, because I want people to know that, hey, regardless of what you're going through, you are still beautiful. You just have to start somewhere to pick up those pieces, even if it's
Right.
one piece at a time. I
Yeah,
promise you, you'll get that picture back together and realize just how beautiful you are.
exactly. Well, and when we started the journal, I told you what I was thinking about for the
Yes.
cover. And so I used the cover as our background for the live. And as you can see, there's the gold that goes through the background. And I told you the first thing I thought was the Japanese culture where they put their bowls back together with gold when they break their bowls. And that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, okay, I've got to figure out a way to infuse that into the cover. And that's what I thought of, because anytime they break their pottery, they put it back with gold. And I said, if you think about that and God putting us back together and how much more beautiful we are when we go through the test and the trials. And, it talks in the Bible about forging us in fire and just making us more beautiful. And we don't think about that when we're going through those trials. That it is making us better. It's burning off those edges that, maybe aren't doing us the best. And I love that the one good thing about doing these journals is it takes your chapter further. I love doing these with the authors that are in the anthology, because, you just have that chance to do a chapter in an anthology. And, a lot of times when you get done with that chapter, you're like, oh, there's just so much more I could say.
Exactly.
Sometimes getting that chapter out is not easy. I know that now from experience, because I've actually written a few. And the last one that I wrote, I was like, okay, where did this come from? And I was like, it was not intentionally what I planned to write, but God, if you let God tell you, you end up writing something and you're like, what in the world? But it was what you needed to write at the time. And I really believe that's what this was for you. And, getting that out. And I just love how your chapters show God in them. And you can really tell that you're teaching in your chapters. You're showing so much of God. It's what you've learned. It's not just, okay, look at what happened to me. And I love the thing behind you, that because you can see the words growth. And I love it, because that's what, everything that I've heard come out of your mouth since I've met you has been about growth. About what you've learned through what you've gone through. And I think if we can grow from what we go through, that makes it worth it. And being beautifully broken, coming out of the fire, Dr. Pamela likes to say, coming out of the fire and not smelling like smoke. That's huge. And it's not easy. And the only way to do that is to go through it with God.
And think about a diamond. Look at the diamond. Look all the pressure that the diamonds goes through. And look how beautiful it comes out after all of that pressure. That's just what this is about. It just states that, hey, the pressure that you go through, the grief, the loss, the storms, the challenges, everything you like, when life is actually lifing, you'll come out even more beautiful than you originally are.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So when you get a journal like this, the point of it's a 30-day journal. So you get to take that. Bernice has questions in here for every day. And as you go through them, they're the same questions every day. But if you've ever done a journal like this, they build on each other, even though, every time you answer them, it's like, oh, as you go, it's like everything just shifts and changes. And those questions that you're doing, it's like, it's amazing how different it will be as you move through 30 days of something. If you commit to 30 days of doing something, when you get to the end of it, it's amazing how transformative that can be. Anybody that's done an exercise program, a meal program, a journal program, coaching program, anything like that, if you've committed to 30 days of something, it changes you.
It
And
does.
in this, you're concentrating on you, which that's a good thing.
Yes, very good
It's a good
thing.
thing. That is something we don't do enough of. And I encourage you to take this time and work on you, because if you're working on you, you're bettering your life in general. The people around you get affected, and they'll be like probably about halfway through, like, what's different? What are you doing? And people start recognizing
Mhm.
that you're working on you, because it affects everybody around you
It
when
does.
you work on you.
It does.
And I love that. And but I want to talk a little bit more just about you and um, your chapter, just a little bit about um, what it's about, like a little bit about what inspired your chapter, not so much like, not like what happened, but the way God brought you out of it.
Just like you said earlier about the growth part,
Yeah.
I have been growing. Things has been happening in my life. I'm trying to figure out where to start because it's been so
Yeah, go
much.
ahead.
Things has been happening in my life over a period of time. I've always journaled,
Hmm.
but I always a journal to put it to the side and then not think about it anymore, because I've taken it out of my head and put it on paper, and I just kind of left it there because then I prayed about it and I kept moving on with life. But life kept continuously happening over and over because at sometimes if you don't deal with what's really going on with you, it's gonna come back and revisit you again.
Yes.
So so with that being said, um in 2020, we all know the pandemic was a different ball game for everybody.
Oh,
Something
yes.
unusual. Nobody saw it coming. It was just
Yeah.
so a lot of different things transpired because we began to deal with ourselves. We were stuck in the house with ourselves. We
Yes.
really was. We really couldn't really go out and mingle. So we had to sit back, and some people was happy with learning themselves. Some people struggled with learning themselves. Um, I did. I kept busy as far as just journaling and learning myself, and then I started going back to the journals that I've written before, just journaling, not publishing, but just journaling. And then some tragic, not really tragic, I won't say tragic, something surprisingly happened to my in my life in 2020 that took me by storm. And
Mm.
I actually had to sit down and
Mm.
regroup. And at the time when I was regrouping, God was telling me, you can't help anybody else if you're struggling yourself.
Yeah.
You drain, you're pulling everything from your cup, you poured it in everybody else's cup, and now there's nothing left in your cup. So what are you going to
Right.
do?
Yeah.
So at that point, I just knew that I had to release some of the stuff that I had in order for me to start healing myself, in order to heal,
Mm.
to help someone else get to their healing point.
That's
So
good.
that's what this book speaks mostly about. It kind of lets where there's going to be storms, but you got to find a way to deal with it. There's going to be things you have to look at, like, hey, what can I do differently? Is it something maybe that I'm doing that's helping that I'm not doing enough of? So you note take that. There's ways where you might have a good day. Notate what you did to cause you to have that good day. Maybe you want to continue that streak and add on to make your day even better. Um, because like you said earlier, sometimes we're broken, don't realize we're broken, but then you gotta think about it. We can bleed on the people that didn't cut us.
Mm.
So this will help you understand that, hey, even though you're broken,
Yeah.
um, you have to find a way not to bleed on somebody that didn't cut you, somebody that maybe in the point of your life that actually tried to help you, but you looked at it as in a different way of being attacked in some type of way. Because it's all about mindset, and I am a stickler for mental health. It's all about mindset. You will have to focus on your mental before you can help anybody else do anything with their mental. help them groom mentally, just help them flourish, just help them find a ways to pick up pieces, to find their outlet that works for them. Journaling works for me. That's my outlet.
Yeah.
When I read my own work, I know it comes from growth, and I know it comes from God and the Holy Spirit, because sometimes I read this and I'm looking like, this is really my life, but
Yeah.
it flows so, like it was like I woke up and it was just there on the paper. I'm like, really, did I really just write this? So I know it's not just me. I know it's what God has chosen me to do. I can tell by the way the words flow. I can tell the feeling I get when I read my own work. Um, I just love helping people to grow. That's just I can't. It's a part of me. My grandmother was like that. I didn't see it, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize I was so much like her until she transitioned in October. I'm like, Granny, I am so much like you. But and it's a privilege. I love the fact that I am, because she lived to be 94 years old. So
That's
I,
awesome.
I can't ask for any more than to be, just to be a vessel of God, just to walk in her footsteps, even though I got some big shoes to fill. But you know, that's where I got to this book, because I was broken in many ways. But the fact that after I lost her in October, I saw so many things that I could do to benefit others, and what actually got me to the point where I am now, knowing that I'm beautiful even though I'm broken. And just like I said earlier today on the post, broken crayons still color.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love that. And I remember when we were talking about Stories of Glory, when we launched that, we were talking to you.
Yes.
And we talked about your grandma
Yes.
and how, that anointing can transfer.
Yes.
And I definitely believe that she transferred some of that anointing over to you. And so that's why you're so much like her, because you have that mantle to carry. And I love that. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
And you definitely realized that when you were going through in 2020, that you just can't. You can wear yourself out, and pour out and pour out and pour out, and then you gotta eventually fill yourself back up,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're drained, and you can't help other people if you're drained out. And realizing that is huge. And a lot of us don't. We pour out and pour out and pour out, and then we wonder why we can't get anywhere, can't get anything done.
Yes.
And that is very important. And realizing that is huge, especially when it comes to working for God. Yes. And getting things done for the kingdom. And realizing that is a big deal. And so I think that will speak to a lot of people, especially nowadays, because we just feel like we have to do so much. And especially as women, we really feel like we have to take care of everybody else first. And I think we're finally slowly realizing that it's okay to take care of us too. Yes. And that sometimes you have to put yourself first. And as mamas, we definitely are like, we got to take care of everybody first. And, as mamas, as wives, as grandmas, we take care of everybody else around us, but we have to take care of us so that we can take care of everyone else around us. And I think this journal is going to be a good one for all of those mamas, grandmas, sisters, aunts, and everything, because it's going to be a healing and a time for them to, like you said, sit down and just journal and reflect on their day, on their week, on their month, because it is important. I love to sit down and just journal, and I'm a talker. I talk my day out a lot more than I write. God and I have some really good conversations, because guess what? You can talk to God like he's your friend, because he is. And we have some frank conversations. And I think it's awesome. And I'm so excited for people to start getting your journal and really getting into it.
Yes.
And really digging into their day and seeing what are they're lacking and where they're not, and how they're taking care of themselves, and what they need to do more. And I think that's the best part about doing these journals, is really breaking and looking at yourself.
Yes.
You know, you're not doing these journals for anybody else. When you get a journal like this, you're sitting down and you're helping you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves, and one of the best things we can do for everybody around us. Because the better you help yourself, the more you can help those around you. Like we said, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yep.
So I encourage everybody today to go get this journal. And whether you get the Kindle, whether you get the paperback, personally, if you're gonna get, I think you get both, because if you're traveling, it's nice to just have it.
Exactly.
But if you're gonna really get into it, you gotta get that paperback, and so you can really write in it. But I like to have both. I get both of pretty much every book I publish, because I have to have them everywhere. And I do. I pull them up in the doctor's office. I pull them up when I'm waiting on a plane or waiting on a kid or whatever. You know, you're always waiting on something, it seems like nowadays. So I don't know what I was waiting on the one day. And I was like, oh, hey, I have books on my phone.
Yes.
I was like, I don't scroll through social media much anymore. So you get bored, and it's better than playing a stupid game on your phone. Read a book.
Right. You learn something every day reading a book.
Yes, it is so much more important, and it's so good for your mental health. This book is going to be good for your mental health for sure, because it's going to really help your soul. And that helping the heart, the soul, body, mind, all of it together. It's all connected. Is there anything else, Bernice, that you want to share before we let people go and buy this thing?
I love it, Nicole. Like you said, it's here. This book was created to help heal, mend the broken heart. You know, pick up the pieces from. You know, might be some people that are just afraid to pick up the pieces. I know I was that person at one time. I didn't want to talk about it. I just didn't want to think about it. But once you start the process of healing by picking up those pieces, you realize that you was always beautiful, but you was broken, but now you're even more beautiful. Because like you always gonna hear me say, no matter what interview I do, where I'm at, like my grandmother says, because that was my main lady. She's like, baby, God doesn't make no junk. I'm like, okay, you're right. You're right. So it just, your heart can be shattered. Like you can be shattered in a million pieces in a million different ways, but you can actually be put back together again. You can use those pieces to rebuild your life, get you back to where you want to be. Even at a point, I feel that I'm better than I was. Like the diamond goes through all that, pressure and comes out beautiful, and unique, because not one diamond is the same. And just like us, God has made all of us uniquely individuals, and we are, we're a masterpiece, because we're a piece of the master. So why not, so go and all of this, you will see God flows through me. I've learned that all of my writings is biblical based. I don't talk about anything I haven't been through. So this book you will see that I share my story of how I was actually broken and how I start to pick up my pieces. Is the reason why I share this book, so I can help others to pick up their pieces and know that they are beautiful. Despite what they're going through, you are still beautiful. You are beautifully broken. So go get this.
Yes, I have to. We'll leave people with the first sentence of your chapter, because I absolutely love it. It says, my brokenness was God's way of orchestrating my life's journey to equip me for a bigger purpose in life.
I love that God can take the broken pieces of our life and show us what our purpose is. We can use all that nasty stuff and put it all, God can take it and put it all together and use it for what he wants us to use it for, and shows us how it can help the people around us. I love that. I think that is definitely become what my purpose has been about, all my junk in the past. I look back at all of the mess and go, oh my goodness, look where I am now.
Right.
And I do that often. But God can definitely take the junk and make it absolutely beautiful. And Bernice, you are a true testament to that. You, just everything that comes out of your mouth is God. I love that about you. You are a sweet soul, my sister. And I'm just so grateful that you let me work with you on this project. And I pray that everybody gets this book, because it is amazing. I cannot wait till mine actually finds its way to my house. If not, I'll be ordering another one so it finds its way to my house. But go get this book. Go get the Kindle, get the book. And let's get this book everywhere. It's so beautiful. I love it. And support Bernice, and until she does her next one, and we'll see her again. So thank you, everybody who jumped on. Share this broadcast. Let everybody know about Bernice's journal, because it's going to be a perfect one to get, just to sit and learn more about yourself and help God heal that inner part of you that needs healed. Thank you so much, Bernice. I love you tons.
Thank
and
you.
Everybody share, and like this broadcast, and let everybody see it, and tell everybody about Beautifully Broken. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you, Nicole. Love you bunches.